ever wondered when you're actually supposed to adjust the presser foot pressure on a serger? We're working through all the videos of the BERNINA L890, and I am going to give you a very simple answer to when and how to adjust the pressure. So because so much of this is automatic, or like you have your own built-in sewing person inside this machine, I would recommend that if you use the home button and go through the BERNINA Creative Consultant, meaning you touch the dress form, come in here, pick the fabric that you are using, and then pick the technique. And the machine is going to tell you how to set it up, how to adjust for like a thicker fabric or a thinner one or a stretchier one. And one of those options is going to be how and when to adjust the foot pressure. So for example, on the first screen, these are fabrics. And if you're not familiar with fabrics and their little pictures on your machine yet, touch the question mark and touch one of the pictures. In this one, toweling, bathing garments and towels is what that particular symbol means. Touch the question mark, choose something else. It talks about heavy knits, for example. So let's say we are picking a heavy knit. At this point, we have options for different choices of techniques. Again, use the question mark to pick your technique if you're not used to those pictures yet. This would be for like sewing and neatening the edge of your seam, kind of like just an overcast. This would be more of a construction seam. You've got your cover stitch options and your blind hem option. So let's just pick a regular construction seam, and it actually will recommend one of these options. You can touch the check mark, and then here it will pick the stitch and tell you for adjustment. Now here is the picture that talks about presser foot adjustment. So here it talks about turning it to 2. So all we have to do is come to the top and turn it to 2, and you will then know you have adjusted it correctly. Now, since this is a mechanical change, the machine is not going to know when you've changed it or if you haven't changed it correctly. So keep an eye up here. Use the step-by-step setup, or do one more step until you get comfortable. Leave yourself a little sticky note that reminds you that when you're done with this technique, to change it back to normal. Normal's 4. But for this fabric, we're going to set it for 2. We'll continue on to all the setup. Again, we're focusing on the foot pressure. So for here, we're talking about using a 2-thread chain stitch for one of the construction seams. And again, here you're going to see an adjustment for stitch length. Because that number is yellow, I see that it has already been changed for me. And then when I'm done with this technique, go back into the home button, go to the Creative Consultant with the dress form. If you touch the dress form back at the beginning, you'll be back to where you can pick your fabric. So for example, let's do it one more time. Let's pick a very lightweight fabric, a overlock-like stitch, and let's go ahead and go step by step. It's picking my stitch. Here's that pressure foot adjustment, turning it back to 4. It's that simple to know when you're supposed to increase it, decrease it, or use it at its normal pressure on the fabric. And just remember, you can always do a little bit more or less depending on how stretchy or thick your fabric is. If you're not getting the results that you're looking for, you can always come back here and do it like one more number in the direction that it sent you. Remember, this will get you into a nice ballpark, but you might adjust it just a little bit. Honestly, with the BERNINAs, I find I'm pretty spot on and have yet to really question what it's told me to set up. So once again, go through all the settings and touch the green check mark, and you're ready to sew the seam or technique that you've requested. When you're done, put it back to 4. That's your normal number. And don't forget to look at the videos below where you can watch all of them in order and master your beautiful BERNINA L890 serger and cover stitch machine.